Are we live?
Are we live? I'm not saying are we live.
No, we're saying is your cup full.
Is your cup full?
My cup is full.
What's up, people? Happy Wednesday. It's that day. It's that time. It's that hour. It's SipsTea the Show. Yo, we got a new setup in the studio. This little sink is empty for a reason.
Ooh, I mean, I'm so far away from you.
It wasn't that I was just getting sick of my cousin.
I know, yeah.
It was
she really wants to be super close to me.
I love being close to her TS Madison booties. I love it.
Oh my God. Can they just be my GemDTwin booties?
I her GemDTwin, aka Keleeba. Okay. What's up, y'all?
Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to SipsTea the Show. Happy hump day. You know what I'm saying? Let's get over it.
We made it.
Let's get over it, under it, into it, all of that stuff. We definitely made it.
We made it.
Yeah.
Y'all don't know, right? Well, first of all, thank you guys for tuning in each and every Wednesday. We're going to bring another great show, another great SipsTea the Show. But this show, we've had some epic shows, right? We've done Wakandas, we've had some blooper shows. But this show, we're doing highlights. So I'm ready for this show.
Okay, because we're actually getting into it. Like, this is...
We're making the dreams come true.
Yeah.
We've been talking about brewing people.
Now we about to be about it. We about to be about it, okay? So we were talking about it, now we're about to be about it. So we're going to have an awesome show today. We have a surprise for you guys. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, like she said, this chair is not empty.
For no reason.
For no reason. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, I'll be right there next to my co-host, Eb Deceleb. But
we're glued. Y'all don't understand this. We're glued.
Yes.
Trust me.
And it's contractual. But you better be glued to me.
But you ain't going nowhere. Where you thought you was going?
Where you going?
Where you going? What's up?
Not when you sign this paper.
Okay. Sign that dotted line then.
Okay.
What's up, y'all? Once again, it is SipsTea the Show. Can we replay that intro music so they can get used to hearing our music? Can we play it? I'm talking to our producer here. Producer, can you play our intro music one more time? Because when y'all hear this intro music, y'all know it's that time that you know we about to go in.
We just want to make sure that everybody
cut food or not.
Yeah, has time to tune in. We're giving y'all a little second to tune in and make sure that you're joining us on the live.
And all that good
We're getting a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for watching as we grow and grow and grow. And part of that growth is actually to actually make sure that we reach out into the areas that we said we're going to reach out to.
Absolutely.
And sometimes it's baptism by fire. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's like you can't necessarily wait for things to be perfect. Like the producer is adjusting the screen over here and it's actually driving me nuts. But But you know,
you guys, like I said, we got to make sure that we get all the right angles.
We want to make sure the angles are
right.
It's
all about them lightings.
Yeah.
You know, we got to look good on the camera running.
So as you guys are tuning in and everything. Okay.
All right, good. Okay, but no, guys, make sure you tune in. We have our YouTube page up, SipsTea the Show. We have our Instagram page up at SipsTea the Show. And then we also have our Facebook, which is the Tea Spot. So we have all three avenues going. Eventually we'll streamline it into just YouTube. But for right now, we'll keep babysitting.
Yes, we babysitting and we're hitting y'all from every possible place to broadcast from. So, with that being said, we need to get into this positivity
because we got to get this show through.
We got to get the show through.
My cup is still full right now. By the end of the show, I need to be doing like this. Okay, so let's get it brewing. So, it's positivity.
It's positivity.
First of all, co-host, how was your week?
The week was good. The week was good. But you know what? I wanted to say this. Okay, first of all, let's make sure that everybody knows that we're doing today's show. It's a special show for us because this is going to be our first day to fill this seat. And also, it brought to mind past, present, and future. So past, present, and future, a whole lot of things are happening. And in order to actually move forward with the future, sometimes you have to identify and look at the past and all of that other stuff, acknowledge it, and then move on. So with this show, we're talking about some icons. We want to get into, how the past has affected the future positively. Mm-hmm. So with past, present, and future,
and we're going to get into you guys, give me 1 second. I'm talking to the producer really quick. I just need her to see something. Okay. Okay. So we can just, I just need to let her know that she can see herself, so there's clearly a gap. Just trying to get it right for the people.
Yeah,
just trying to get it right
y'all
for the
don't
people.
need to see all.
Y'all don't need to see all that. Just trying to get it right for the people.
I feel like
we also gonna get into real quick because you talked about the future, the past, and the present.
Yeah.
Also talking about getting into that. We're gonna talk a little bit about Kanye West he's on a fucking tripping spree. So we gotta bring that shit up.
Yeah.
And then let your man Meek Mill out. We gotta bring that shit up. So it's a lot of shit going on, a lot of tea we gotta talk about.
Yeah.
I hope y'all are tuned in. I hope y'all are ready because we about to get it.
Yeah, we about to get in it. So let's get into this. Is it me? Is your cup full?
It's full.
Because I got some tea for you.
Okay. I need to be inspired.
Yes. Okay. So about this positivities, and we're talking about the past, present, and future, and things like that. And usually, I'm the biggest person that's like, okay, you know what? Whatever happened in the past, leave it in the past. Move forward. And most times, the message is about moving forward, about from something that was negative about your past. But we need to talk about the past in reference to those people that came before us. And so my quote for today, my little positivity, my piece is it's a quote that says, life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forward. So, in retrospect, is a bitch. Like hindsight, if you've ever heard anybody, they always say a quote called hindsight is 2020. Mm-hmm. Hindsight is 2020. If you know now what you did not, if you knew then what you knew now, you wouldn't make certain mistakes, you wouldn't do certain things, blah, blah, blah. But all of those things came along for a reason, and they taught you a lesson, and you move beyond it. But again, life can only be understood backwards. That means while you're learning, while you're moving forward, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to do what you do. But every part of that is a part of the journey. So you can't forget about the past. You know what I'm saying? The past is important. The past taught us something. The past made us as African Americans quite strong. If you think the past gives you your heritage, the past gives you your sounding board for what your future is. You know what I mean? If you don't judge yourself by how far you've come, you know what I'm saying? The past for SipsTea from February 22nd, when we started this show, we've actually made some strides, and we're making strides every day. And that's our present. And in the future, we'll talk about the future in a little while. So what about you, Eb Deceleb? How you feel about that, first of all?
First of all, I don't like when she's in my mind. I'm sitting far away from her, but she's still
radiating.
She's radiating in my mind. Like, I don't like this. It's getting kind of weird.
It's creepier.
But no, speaking of something new for us, guys, I know we've been coming up with our new t-shirt designs and things like that. So we're just doing a trial and error. So I do want to highlight this show's t-shirt design. If you guys can see it here. You
can see it in motion or
hers moves. I got big titties too, but I'm not about to sit here and bounce them.
Why not, girl?
Because I'm not trying to knock myself out.
I'm just joking.
Girl, I got
that's not the tea. That's not the tea for today.
Okay. So anyway, but this is our new t-shirt design here, one of them. So guys, continue to look out. We're gonna finalize it. We're gonna get it right.
Yeah,
it's a process. Our logo is a process. But speaking of positivity, so I did want to highlight that just because you started talking about that. For me, my positive quote. Let me get it together. Technology. So for me, it was kind of piggybacks off of what Keleeba said. It says, "You'll never be brave if you don't get hurt. Ooh. You'll never learn if you don't make a mistake, and you'll never be successful if you don't encounter a failure."
Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
Did I do it?
Because you did it.
You
did it because you cannot succeed unless you fail. I mean, it just is what it is. In some way, shape, or form, we fall down, but we get up.
But we get up. And
we fall down,
but we
get up.
She's a singer in the group. I'm just that background. But you know what? I'm drinking my tea. But anyway, I think that this right here for me was something that was important for me this week, you know, because we all encounter different things, We failed, we've won, we've lost, we've cried, we've done all these different things. But
Absolutely.
If you don't have these experiences, how can you grow? So for me, this was so important. If you're not brave, if you don't overcome things that you don't think you can overcome, and you're not brave, and you say, you know what? I got to get over my fear of losing. I got to get over my fear of not always making the best decision.
Right.
I got to get over my fear of not being perfect. perfect. I have to get over that fear, because if I don't get over it, how can I ever be brave enough?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
And because it is a certain amount of bravery that makes it so that you live. You cannot live without a certain amount of bravery.
This show takes a lot of bravery. Yes. Get out here every single week and do what you love and give that to the people, not knowing how they're going to receive it.
Right, exactly.
That's bravery right there.
Yeah,
so
you know what your intent is.
My past has been, I've been that, you know me for a while. I've always been, like, we've done the radio thing, but in my real life, I've always been that shy type. I had to get over that, but to face my own fears of being shy and not accepted. And I said, you know what, bitch, I'm a bad bitch. I'm brave, bitches. You know, and I found myself. You got to do that. So I had to come over that. You have to be a cheerleader for yourself. And the same thing about learning from my mistakes. I have made a lot of mistakes. But guess what? I've learned from every last one of them. And I never make the same mistake twice. I just lied. I did. I haven't made the same mistake twice, but I never make it 3 times. Okay. And then the last part is encountering. What was the other one? Success. Yes. If we don't encounter any failures, we can't be successful. Right. So we've had a few failures with this show, right?
No, absolutely not. I'm just joking.
This show's been perfect, right? But no, we've had a few failures with this show. But guess what? Now look at us. We starting closer on time. Our shit's set up. We saw a little bit here and there, but for the most part, we're getting where we need to be.
And remember when we were talking about perspective? Because if you don't have the right perspective, and if your perspective is this is a failure, instead of looking at it like this is an opportunity to grow. If I did poorly right here, you know what I'm saying, but I'm still doing it and I did poorly, it just actually gives you a place to grow from. You know what I'm saying? If you started off being freaking awesome and everything, for real, will be a boring
You'd be a boring.
I mean, because where do you go? Where do you go?
You're already perfect. Nobody cares.
Yeah, and living is about growing. And so speaking of growing.
I was about to say.
Speaking of growing.
You stay away from me. You on that side for a reason.
I know. I'm trying to get away from you, but you know I'm always here. I'm always here. But speaking of growing and developing and moving forward, I am super excited. We are both excited on this show because we are about to introduce you to what? Brewing tea. We're about to brew this tea, y'all.
I gotta shake it up because you know a little too much liquor on the top part of it. So I gotta shake it up because I don't want to get too crazy.
Okay, so welcome to the Brewing Tea segment. And Brewing Tea today, we actually have what? Our first guest in the studio today.
We're getting excited. Very excited. Let me tell you. Wait, can we turn on T.S. Madison so she can do the booby shake so we can bring him in?
Okay. You want me to shake him in? I'll shake him in. I'll shake him in.
Shake him in.
Because today we are introducing and bringing you guys to the show, the Guru. Okay. We're gonna keep his name consistent. We're gonna say we're gonna call him and keep it as the Guru. He can introduce himself any other way if he likes to.
We're not gonna do it no justice.
No,
so we better stick with what we know. The Guru.
We're gonna call him the Guru. This young man is actually a young man, and when we're talking about past, present, and future, the reason I have to be excited about this is because we are looking at the present and we are looking at the future. Okay, so we're looking at, and it's very important to this show because we're talking about the future of communication, the future of mass communication, the future of videos, the future of photography, and that's our realm. Everything. You know what I'm saying? The future of SipsTea. You know what I'm saying? How does it all play out?
You met him here first.
Yeah, we here on this show definitely have an affinity for this young man.
Wait a minute.
He gets a little slide, a little movie shake.
We can't hit with him. She better. Wait a minute.
We got you know the part where she going, you know, I'm gonna bring it back. Okay. But yes, we are super excited to have our first guest in the studio. The Guru. Come on.
Representing sipping out the teacup.
Yeah.
Did he shake it off? I just need to ask the girl. Is your cup full? Is your cup full?
I've been sipping a little bit backstage.
Okay.
But, I need a little fill up. Tell the producer to bring some.
Okay.
He's on the producer.
He
I don't want to show what I'm sipping on, so I'm gonna just pass this back.
Yeah, that's right.
We ain't branded. We ain't branded.
No, we branded SipsTea the Show. Okay,
this is
not what's up in that cup.
Wow.
So I mean, check out our SipsTea month. Okay,
we got the guru.
So right. Yes,
we got the man in the building.
All right.
And with further ado, let him introduce himself. All
right, ladies. Everybody, audience, what's going on? My name is Jabari Jefferson, also known as the Mass Comm Guru. I am an entrepreneur. I'm a video producer, photographer, multimedia, everything media professional. And I'm here with SipsTea.
Yes, in the building.
I'm just here to brand myself. So I'm young. I'm from Washington, D.C., and I attend Delaware State University right now. I graduated in May.
I was about to say that's an important piece. Okay.
That's what's up.
And can we say a part of that is, number one, you're graduating from college in your field. Okay. So talking about actually following your dreams and, getting into what it is that you want to do now instead of later. So kudos for that. But also before I even graduate, I'm doing what? Mass Comp Guru Productions. That's what we're doing. So it's never too late to start, and it's never too late to just get your stuff going. To make movements. So continue on.
Yeah. So I hit the ground running. As a freshman.
Absolutely.
At Delaware State University, I was always motivated. I joined the TV station the first year I got there, and I just got hooked to it. To be honest, I had an interest in video production at a very young age. Like, when I was a kid, I would shoot little videos here and there with my family and friends. But it didn't really, develop until like a passion until like high school, when people actually told me like they liked my content. I was really raw. It was really kind of like undeveloped, but people saw the potential. So after people telling me that, you have a talent, you have a gift, I just kept going. So when I got to when I got to college, I saw that we had a TV station. So I was like, I'm gonna just, just see what's going on. So I started off as like being a production assistant, helping with the cables and all that. Yeah. And then by like my sophomore year, I was the lead technical director. And by what I mean by that is that I was pretty much the guy in the control room telling, which cameras to point where. Because at the TV station, we do sporting events, we do the graduation ceremony, we do a lot of other events on campus. And the director is pretty much the person that's telling each camera to point on certain aspects of the event. So I started off really from the bottom, and then, learning from everybody and then making my way, learning my,
your craft. Yeah.
Yeah. So
did you find that you found a lot of things on your way up? You know what I mean? More things that you got to be interested in along the way. You know what I mean? Definitely. And can you tell us, okay, so here you are right now in your Mass Comm Guru production.
Yes, ma'am.
Talk to your freshman self.
Freshman self.
What
I would say to my freshman self is what I pretty much say to everybody that's kind of up and coming is just to keep shooting. You know what I'm saying? If that's something that you're interested in, I'm a videographer by heart. That's what I like to do. So I just say, man, just get a camera. No matter what camera it is, if it's your iPod, your iPhone, just shoot. Learn how to tell that story. You know what I'm saying? If let's say you have a friend, and this is what I tell everybody. Let's say you have a friend who does hair. Let's say you have a friend that cuts hair or has some sort of brand or business.
Or makes lock jewelry, maybe?
Lock jewelry or whatever.
Okay. Right.
And just help them tell that story. It's all practice. It can be, you can do it for free. You can, they can give you lunch money or whatever. I don't know, depending on where you at, where you start, and just get familiar. You don't have to be the best right away, but the purpose of you basically getting that camera and shooting is to kind of get your chops up. What I mean by that is getting familiar, being confident with having that device in your hand and telling that story. Right. Because it doesn't matter. You can get a freaking red camera, which is really a really expensive $40,000 camera, and you can have that camera really early in the gate, but it doesn't matter what equipment you have if you don't have that skill, if you don't have that craft. So I would say that it doesn't matter what you're using. I'm speaking to myself, freshman self, because I was really big on buying equipment. Yeah, I dropped at least $13,000, $14,000 on equipment, in my whole career. And that's just me, saving up my refund check money, those, people.
Refund check. Shout out to the college refund check.
You do this. This is something that you do.
This is not a hobby. This is
your lifestyle.
This is a lifestyle. Like anybody anybody that knows me know that, you know what I'm saying, my girlfriend in the back days, she knows.
Shout out to the girlfriend and support.
Shout out to the support.
She'll tell you, I'm really obsessed with this video production. Like, she'll tell you that the hours that I put in, this is not just something I do for fun. This is like a lifestyle, like I said. Like, I really be putting in the hours. Like, I feel as though, like, if you don't put in at least 8 hours on a video, you're not serious. You're not serious. You're not serious. Because, like, the video could be like, you know, for instance, I did like a little promo video for a guy that is at my school, and like it's only a minute-long video, but I put in some time to really tell that story.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It doesn't just, you can't just pull up to the event with a camera and just tell that story. You gotta, it's all about pre-production. You can't, like, I started out, and this is something else I would tell myself, like the freshman me, like, prep. And I learned that from my mentor, Justin Dixon. And you gotta prep. But anything you do, you gotta prep. You can't just jump out.
You can't just go out there and do it. Can we, just to piggyback on that, even stuff that we do for the show, we can't really just show up and just be here.
We definitely have to.
I promise you, I want to do that. But it just doesn't happen. You can't, you absolutely cannot just show up and do something and expect it to, you know, come out the way that you want. And you really are not giving it your 100%. And when you're not putting your all into it, a lot of times, especially with production and videos and all that stuff, you can actually tell. Don't you think so?
You can tell. Trust me. Like, there's a lot of people, and no shade, I'm not saying, I don't want to say no names, but there's a lot of young up and coming videographers, you know, that I be seeing.
Is this tea? Hold on.
That I be seeing, and like they just like, they so big on mass production. You know what? They get a gig, I'm gonna just shoot it. Just because you come to me, I'm gonna shoot it. I was like that at one point, but I realized that it's all about that prep, as I tell you. Like, if somebody come to me with a gig and cause like the consumer, they're just like, I just want this video to be done. They don't care. They don't care about the prep.
But that's your name as well.
Yeah, that's like whatever you do, it's your name behind it. I don't care if I'm shooting a commercial, somebody just walking down the street. I'll make sure it's look like something that was shot in Hollywood.
Right.
Because that's my name. That's my brand. Every video that I create is pretty much going to get me my next job. And I learned this again from my mentor. So basically, like, pretty much every video I create is like a resume. It's a part of my resume. It's like another little, you know, when you look at a resume, it's just another little, you know, little thing. Yeah, so like, no matter what I do, I don't care if it's free, paid, I'm getting some food. I don't care.
You're gonna give it
your. Speaking of like your mentor and stuff like that, who would you say if you could work for anyone, or I mean, obviously you have your own thing, but if you want to, you have your mentor, but someone who's like out there doing like big movie productions. Who would that person be? Not working for anyone, but having that person, working with that person. Who would that person be for you, and why?
To be honest, I'm confident in myself. I really would want to just work with myself. I want to build my own brand. Okay. And like, I mean, there are other like up and coming videographers.
Not up and coming people who are
already established.
Who you think is awesome and you would love to work with.
Past, present, and future. So in the past, like people who have already done big things. Who do you feel like I mean, your work is your work. It's perfect. It's who you are. But if you had to like I always ask this question to artists, who do you feel like you idolize in a sense, if you will? You understand what I'm saying?
At one point, it was Spike Lee, because I felt that was just like the generic thing to say. Like, when I was up and coming, like, who do you look up to? Oh no, you know Spike Lee, because you know, he's black and all that cool stuff. And like, it was at one point where I would call myself a young Spike Lee. And over winter break, this is a crazy story. So over winter break, around the time Spike Lee had released his Netflix series, She's Gotta Have It, he was pretty much doing promo on Instagram or whatever. And I had mentioned him while, like, you know, reached out to him. I was like, yo, I really love the series. It was pretty dope. And he responded. Spike Lee responded to me on Instagram.
Do the right thing.
And again, as I was saying, like, it was one point when I called myself a young Spike Lee. That was like my handle on Instagram. So if you visit my page on Instagram, it would say a young Spike Lee. So he responded. He added me. It was like, be a young you. So when he said that to me,
dope. Be a young you.
Yeah. So basically, what that meant to me was, don't look up to me.
Yeah.
Like, don't, you know what I'm saying? It's good to, you know, pay homage to your the people that you look up to, you know, the gods of the film industry. But at the end of the day, you gotta be a young you. You can look at them for inspiration. So like, to answer that question, who would I really look up to? Like, who do I idolize myself or want to work with? To be honest, man, I just want to just do my own thing. Like, I respect everybody. I feel like when it comes to film, it's like it's so diverse. There's so many different aspects of film. And for me, I pride myself in being a diverse person. So I can create a video for the church down the street. I can create a booty shaking music video for Lil Peanut down the street. I can do a corporate video, which I've done. You know what I'm saying? I'm so diverse. So
What's
I don't want to.
favorite?
My favorite type of videos for real. And I'm gonna shout out my boy Karan Brown. I don't know if he's watching, but he goes to Dale State, and he's really big on film, like actual cinema, like telling short films. So like I really like that genre of like creating short films. Basically like having a topic. Let's say the topic is domestic violence. So me telling that 5 to 10 minute story of, let's say, a young woman who was in an abusive relationship with her husband, boyfriend, whatever, significant other. And just telling that story because I actually created a PSA when I was a sophomore. And
can we find that? And where can we find that?
So I'm gonna plug myself real quick.
Yeah,
so,
plug it.
Seriously, guys, this is dope. This is dope stuff.
Yeah. So okay, listen to this very carefully so you guys can go and follow these things and check it out.
All right, I'm gonna just drop my website. So I just launched my website last night on it's powered through Weebly. It's MassComm, MassComm, COMM, Guru Productions. I think it's .weebly. .com. We'll put the link.
Yeah, we'll definitely put the links.
It's new, it's fresh, it's new. I got a lot of my work on there, but if you want to see this PSA, it's on my YouTube channel. Just search Jabari Jefferson on YouTube. You should see a picture of me with a camera in my hand. Just go to my YouTube channel and just scroll down, and it's a public service announcement. I'm gonna tell y'all a little bit about it. So when I was a sophomore at Delaware State University, I was a part of a class called TV2, which was a class where they pretty much taught you about documentary making and all that. So I worked with my good friend Rick Jackson. He's actually in LA right now. He's on a lot of big things, you know, a lot of short films, commercials, all that, you name it. He's doing it. And we were in a group project or whatever. We had to create a PSA, and we did it on domestic violence. You know, we thought it was something that's a prevalent topic. It's like something that you know, a lot of communities, black, white, whatever, people experience domestic violence. So we decided to tell that story. So make a long story short, right now it's at 40,000 views on YouTube.
Wow. That deserves a hand clap.
Yes, that deserves a hand clap. That's how SipsTea goes.
I was about to say, we've been talking about domestic violence a lot. So I know that, you know, to be able to just be a part of such a movement and then for that movement to take off, and then now you're at 40,000 views. Like, you have to honestly love what you do.
Definitely love it.
You have to love what you do, because that also comes to the picture.
Right.
If, like you said earlier, something so important, you could just do it just to do it in the masses and this and that, and it's going to look just like that. But if you have something that you believe in, that you feel, and that's going to
strongly about.
That's going to come across.
And
labor of love is a labor of love.
And I want to jump back to that question that you guys asked me, like if I could talk to my
younger self.
I would just say, man, create, you know, younger Jabari, you know, create stuff, younger Guru, create stuff that you're passionate about. Like just do whatever like you're interested in. You know, me, I was interested in a lot of things. I still am interested in a lot of things. But just like when you are passionate about something, you will put in 110%.
Yeah.
You know, me, I'm passionate about the media. I'm passionate about learning the latest and greatest, anything that got to do with the media. So most of my projects are geared towards that. So let's say if I'm into beauty or whatever, and I want to create a YouTube channel about like makeup or something like that, that's something that I'm passionate about. So I'm going to put 110% in it. And I know makeups because that's something that's my niche, or that's like my area. So whatever you do, put 100% in it because you're passionate about it. You'll be more likely to wake up early in the morning doing that, as opposed to working on a video or project that you're not really interested in. So anyone that's up and coming, do passion projects. If you can't think of anything else, just do something that you're passionate about, because it'll show. When you're passionate about it, you're gonna put in the hours, like I do. I put in the hours, I put in the time, and I grind. And that's all it takes, to be honest, and determination.
Okay. So now, I told y'all we drop gems on this show.
But I do have one question. I have one because I'm nosy.
All right.
So where do you? Because we just talked about your younger self.
Yes.
Now let's talk to your future self.
Future self.
I mean, that's great. You got that. You learning. Boom, boom, boom. But where do you see yourself?
To be honest,
3 and 5 years, 2, 3, and 5 years, because you're about to graduate.
Yeah, graduate.
And you can talk about what's going on from there. But where do you see this going?
I see myself opening up a production company, like officially opening up a production company, purchasing property, purchasing a lot in which I can just, you know, create art, create content. Clients can come to me. Hey, I want to do a PSA. I want to do a commercial. Can you create this for me? So basically being a house or a hub, a production hub, where people can come to me and have their content be produced. As far as a location, I see myself being in multiple locations. I see myself doing a lot of traveling. I see myself being contracted from different companies, different people. I don't see myself being in one specific place, to make a long story short.
Okay.
And I just see myself, you know, progressing in my craft, like just getting better at my craft, and creating my first feature film, you know, getting my first Emmy, you know, Oscar even. I'm thinking big, you know what I'm saying?
Can I just say this? Can I just ask you right now, because you know I like to lock people in. Can you just tell the viewers that regardless of where you go, you will always be available for an interview on SipsTea the Show? So that way you said it here.
Definitely.
And you guys, by the way, he's just not a guest to the show. He watches the show.
Okay.
Support goes a long way. And he just said something. You said passion.
Passion project, yeah.
Passion project.
Let's get it.
Okay. Well, okay. So, in the interest of time, though, let's not forget. See, the producer, she just busted up on the show.
I guess you can do that time.
Yeah, because she, you know, put together stuff and you know whatever. Okay, but I think one thing that you wanted to say also is that we had to shout out Haiti tonight.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw that.
So we're shouting out Haiti tonight, tuning in, and I think what Ronald Dematic.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not butchering a name, but Ron, thank you for your support. Everybody, you know, everybody, thank you for your support. But of course, the long distances, we really, really appreciate that because we don't want to just be local. Yeah. We definitely want to expand far and beyond. That is our goal, to expand far and beyond. We did.
We had our first.
We had our first guest.
Yeah, I just want to put it out there that this is my nephew right here. Yeah, if you don't know that already, it's my nephew. It's in the blood, because it's in the blood.
Okay, well, while we're talking about this, and her bloodline, all that, we also have to
talk about highlight our.
We also just have to give a shout out to
Ron.
For what? Yeah, you were going to.
Yeah, that's what
Our first was this is our first guest, and we also have our first viewers from Haiti. Thank you for viewing and sharing the show, and thank you for everybody locally that's also viewing it. And then also shout out to our producer.
Yes.
Definitely for hooking us up and making sure that we are in the know on things that we need to be in the know on. Getting us Jabari. I'm sorry, the guru. I call him Jabari, but I'm gonna have to.
Let's not get it twisted.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's what people are gonna know you by having the guru on the show and getting the guru here and on the show today, so that we can actually exchange some ideas. It's all about collaboration and making sure that we are all in the know. But you know what? We gotta get in this tea time, and we need to know.
Oh yeah, what he?
Yes, because
you're on the show, so you get to be a part
yes. All of our guests. I feel like people always bring a unique perspective to everything. So you know, we gonna get in this tea time.
So now, and this, I mean, I have a lot. All the parts of the show is my favorite, but I like to gossip.
She does. Okay. She kind of does.
I like tea time because I like to talk about it.
So you know, and. I think we balance each other out because she likes to talk about people as far as, you know, what's going on, you know, a little bit of gossip, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And I like to talk about these things only in respect to how that affects us. As, you know, like, is it relevant to me? Like in my life, like right now, like how does that fit? Like what makes me cat?
It's relevant because these people can never be asked. Like we had to talk about T.S. Madison and Kaya. Like we had to talk about them because that can never be asked. Like,
we're not gonna hit. We're not gonna be with the shit
like that
on the beefing. Absolutely not.
Today, I want to talk about.
Wait a minute. We have to start with our icons. We're doing past, present, future. We are doing past, present, future. We have the future sitting here with me. Exactly. Not your baby boy. So we're talking past, present, and future. We have the future sitting right here with us. Mass Comm Guru Productions. Shout out to you for being a guest. Thank you again. And then we have to take it to the past because this past week we actually celebrated the anniversary of the passing of Prince. Now, if you guys know, okay,
wait a minute,
we talk about iconic.
Woo!
Prince.
Where's the music coming from?
It's actually in my headphones because producer, I want you to know I'm taking note. I still have my headphones on.
Yeah.
My co-host is doing her own.
Wow. Well, I was kind of shaking my boobs, and so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did.
Wait a minute.
I couldn't do that with my
headphones on. Let's go ahead and I want to talk about because I want to get our guests' opinion.
Oh, right.
Yeah, we definitely need that.
And here's the thing: what if somebody came to you to ask you to do an autobiography
on Prince?
How would that look?
That'd be.
Tell me. Talk to me.
That would be like the biggest honor ever because Prince has he's a legend. Even though I wasn't born when he was really popping. I mean, he was forever popping. Let's get that correct.
Right.
I wasn't, in the 80s, early 90s. I wasn't there. But I would just do my research. I would definitely, Purple Rain. I know he had probably thousands of albums from what I heard.
Absolutely.
So
Purple Rain is when I fell in love.
Mm-hmm.
So
in the vault, he definitely got a lot of projects in the vault. And I'll just do my research. I'll study I'd be like, yo, leave me alone. I'm gonna just go in the room, play all the albums, do my research. Look at the books, read, watch documentaries, and I'm gonna just tell it from my authentic self. Because I would tell it from the perspective of, so like you said, I'm the future, so I would tell it from the perspective of a person on the outside looking in. Like I said, I was
and how that affects you.
Definitely, I was never a part of that generation, but little do people realize that Prince had a big impact on even the artists of today, especially with the flamboyancy of the clothing, just the being comfortable.
Travis Scott,
definitely big. Travis Scott,
all these different people,
just men being that comfortable with their sexuality to be on the front, the center stage, just from the Migos wearing the blouses, all that.
That's one thing. Wardrobe was.
But do people really pay homage? Because
and that's the thing.
Homage to that.
You have to make sure that we actually.
we
gotta acknowledge the past sometimes.
Future, the rapper Future, he did create an album or mixtape called Purple Rain.
Yes, he did.
What he did, he had a song called Purple Rain that he did kind of, pay homage to Prince or whatever. Yeah. But that term Purple Rain has a different connotation nowadays. Because we live in drugs have always been prevalent, in our day and age, but a lot of people are using promethazine, cough syrup.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to say.
So that was there was a flip to it, when they say Purple Rain, it's double cup, the cough syrup, it's purple, whatever.
First of all, you hipping us to, okay, that's the drug culture.
I mean, I don't
I know that you don't partake, but I think also some of that is generational. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I was going to say.
When I was a little bit younger, it was the okay. And it was scissor.
But that's what I was saying. Are they truly paying homage? They're taking something that was a positive thing and kind of flipping it. That's that new millennial thing. That's what they're doing. They're taking, back in the day, we all love Prince, but he was flamboyant. So certain people had their opinions. But now, it's okay.
Even in that time, though.
For him.
If I could say an artist, a prominent artist of our generation that mimics, but just would be a kind of an identical copy, a modern day copy of Prince, would be Young Thug. And if you guys don't know Young Thug, he's an artist from Atlanta, and he's been, called out about his sexuality. People question his sexuality because of his music, what he says on social media. He says a little kind of weird stuff that he's not weird, but he'll say things that kind of borderline homosexual, what I'm saying? So people kind of question his sexuality, and also he dresses very flamboyantly. But so it's different ways you can look at it. You can either look at it okay, he's expressing himself, he's paying homage, he's being comfortable with his sexuality. And a lot of other people are saying that, maybe he's doing it just for attention because, hip hop is so masculine and frowned down upon, homosexuality or anybody that, kind of looks that way or acts that way. So in a way, he's kind of stirring the pot, making people upset. And on the other hand, having people being comfortable embracing that side. Because some people do have that side of them that they don't want to show the world. Yeah. So
because of that,
but also it's keeping them relevant. Because we're still talking about it.
We're still talking about it.
So he's won. We talked about that earlier. Winning. He's making himself relevant by putting himself out there. So.
Right. So we definitely have to. Okay. So that was us. We definitely want to pay homage to Prince, and we definitely lost someone big, just like with the passing of Michael Jackson. We lose our icons, but we also create new ones.
But their legacy.
The legacy continues. The legacy continues. And if you can do one thing in this life, which is create a legacy, you've won already.
Yeah. Your legacy will always live.
And that's another reason why we like to, talk to people who are up and coming and doing their thing and staying in their lane and working within your passion and, kind of creating a lane for yourself, because that's creating a legacy. You know what I'm saying? We'll be able to talk about this years to come. You know what I mean? So, and I've already, locked you down for SipsTea the Show for years to come.
So we're creating a legacy.
Yes,
you're creating a legacy, because that's what this whole thing is all about. The way this world works is just works round and round and round. They leave legacy, they leave ideas, and then the next generation picks them up and revamps them. That's all they're doing.
Grandma said, "Ain't nothing new under the sun."
So they definitely. So when we see your videos and your stuff coming out, it's going to be paid respect to what's already been out, but just done
definitely
a modern version.
A modern version.
I feel like what makes me different from a lot of people my age is that I do pay homage to those that have made their mark. And that's our saying at Dell State. Making your mark on the world. I'm plug my university in.
Yeah.
But
you done plugged it a lot.
Shout out to the product that Delaware State is producing.
Get a little zoom in on my okay. But I need a SipsTea cup.
You do, but it is appropriate.
It is. You have your cup, Delaware State. Okay.
For real, like I feel like what makes me different is that I pay homage. Like I do my research. Okay. I I watch my documentaries, especially when it comes to hip hop. I'm a real big hip hop enthusiast, you know what I'm saying? And it was at one point and I still do as a hobby. I make beats, I produce music, and I also have friends. Shout out to my boy, 2. He has a project dropping May 4th. I've shot a lot of projects with him. And I feel like what a lot of artists or a lot of young people don't do, the Loyalties, all these weird name rappers that are hot now, they don't pay homage to the past, because you got to think about who was here before you that broke that barrier
for you to actually even
and that's beyond music too. That's with anything. That's even with being an African American male, being an African American woman. You got to pay homage to those who was willing, you know what I'm saying, to put in a nutshell, the people that wasn't afraid to sit in the front of the bus, you know what I'm saying, or being the ones on the front line.
Absolutely.
Can I shout us out a little bit though? Because right now, as I'm hearing it, there's actually a shortage of women podcasters.
Oh yeah.
So first of all, I need to reiterate this.
What's up, Spotify?
SipsTea the Show is not a podcast; it's a show. Until somebody pays us to call ourselves a podcast. But it's along the same lines. Okay, so if we're a podcast and there's a shortage of women podcasters, we're doing this us.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I know you wanted to get into we have to talk about something else during tea time.
I know we do.
Because
that topic was definitely deep though.
And it was necessary. We have to do that.
It was necessary and it was deep because we don't pay homage to, but we accept it. You know what I'm saying? Like and then we can move on with the whole. I don't know if you guys saw the recent Migos video where they had the whole Soul Train line going on, right?
Paying homage.
That's all I'm saying. Give respect. You ain't come up with this shit, my man.
What's the African proverb? It's like said Kofa, in order for you to move forward, you must look to the past.
Okay, exactly.
Okay, he's dropping.
No, I'm just joking. But
it really, in order for you to really move forward, you really
gotta,
even like your legacy. You know what I'm saying? Your mother, your father, whoever your guardians. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, it takes a village. Like I did not get to where I am, and I'm still up and coming. I have not, where I am right now in my life. I have not, got here without my family. You know what I'm saying? My family, my rock. You know what I'm saying? My friends, my school, everybody. It takes a village. Like each person that I've met. You know what I'm saying? Whether good or bad in my life, I've learned something from that person.
Amen. That's
I can't credit in God. Most importantly, God. Like I couldn't have done it without God.
Absolutely.
In the village, and that goes with anything.
Absolutely. Past, present, future.
About past, present, and future. So now we can talk about what y'all think
what's going on with this
of Meek Mill.
Meek Mill.
What y'all think about the future of this motherfucker?
Man, I see him doing more popping willies. I see him, more flying. Nah, I'm joking, but for real, I think I see him more like using his platform to basically shed light on the the judicial system. You know, Jay-Z, you know what I'm saying? Jay-Z was really big on that. He's still big on that, you know, correcting those wrongs. And I just see him being really a mouthpiece, at least for now. That's what I see in the immediate future. But once all this dies down, I see him still, you know, doing music videos, still flaunting. But you know what I'm saying, he's revered in my generation as being like that go-to guy, like the underdog who really made it to the top, had it all, then lost it. So right now he's at that reconstruction period, him rebuilding his brand. I'm curious
to see how he does it. I'm curious. I think he has a lot of support. He definitely has a lot of support, but I hope that for him, he doesn't lose sight of what he went through. I hope he doesn't lose sight. You do make it back to the top, but don't forget how you got there. Don't paying homage or whatever you want to do. Don't forget how you got there. Don't lose sight of the movement because you're back here. You know what I'm saying? So many people supported you because of this.
You got so many people rooting for him.
Absolutely. That's what I'm about to say.
At the Super Bowl, like his Dreams and Nightmare intro was like the anthem for the Super Bowl.
Exactly. That's major. This
black, white, black, white. You know, everybody like playing this music.
Absolutely.
I think it hit like records on the streaming because it was played so many times. You had people who in Philly, you know, in the parades playing this music. You got a whole
Kevin Hart,
like a whole state. You got the whole country rooting for you. At one point, he was the underdog. You know, I don't want to bring up the whole Drake or whatever.
I was about to say,
but it was at one point when he was at the butt of the jokes.
Even when they were saying he robbed Nicki Minaj's house and all this other stuff.
I mean, just so much. Just so much.
He went through a lot.
But like for him to be so revered now, like you got people from CNN talking about Meek Mill's free. Like everybody's talking.
Everybody's talking. Uber Chronicles. So Meek Mills is free. I'm like, okay, you know. So it's actually, and I have to shout out Uber Chronicles. I just have to say that because yes, I have been driving for Uber. We talked about this on the show, and literally that's a topic. Like, people hopping in,
and so it's probably no race. It's probably black, white,
that's what I'm saying. We don't usually, even people that you would usually not have anything to talk about, we're shouting out, you know, Meek Mills is free, so they free Meek Mill. So you know, and so it's a thing. So it becomes universal. It's a piece of conversation. It is a place that we can all meet in right now.
I just hope he stays on the positive.
So we'll be looking out for that.
Just stay on the positive. Don't let America down.
Come on.
Don't let America down. Let America down.
We already said what we said. Okay.
The guru was about to say something.
I was really about the same thing. Like, Meek Mill, we rooting for you.
We rooting for you. Don't let it down.
Don't look at the past. Don't, you know what I'm saying? You gotta stay out the streets, first of all.
Right.
Stay out the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like you got everything. You got everything you could possibly want right now.
Man out here.
Yeah, you better.
You better.
Shit. Hey, just do the right thing, Meek. You got so many people rooting for you, man. Like people love him at Dell State. Like, my college, like they love Meek. So like literally, it was a standstill. Like when it was like, you know what I'm saying, Meek Mill may be free in the next hour. Like literally, everybody was like,
wait a minute.
Is you free?
You free?
Stop breathing so loud. I can't hear the right.
Wait a minute.
Yo, it's crazy.
Right.
Just do the right thing, Meek.
And then
do the right thing.
On the flip side,
okay, so wait a minute. Are we moving into Suga Honey Iced TEA?
We can, because then on the flip side,
here you
Suga
go.
Honey Iced TEA with
the flip side of the tea time is Suga Honey Iced TEA.
So let's just flip it. So we have on one end, we got everybody brewing for my
man. Brewing for me.
And now on the other hand, we got my man Kanye West.
Kanye.
My man, but you know what? He's speaking his mind.
He's always speaking his mind.
As he always has done.
Right.
We have always listened to what this man had to say. Right. We always was playing it on the radio.
We really didn't have a choice.
We didn't. You know what I'm saying? But now all of a sudden he's saying some real controversial ass shit.
Right.
Yeah.
So now people are like, oh my God.
Yeah,
people say what? You know, it's a fine line with speaking your mind, though. That it's a fine line because people appreciate you for being so outspoken. There are a lot of people that's on your team when you're so outspoken. I'm one of them, actually. But even in my realm, there's a thin line, and then so when you go all the way up to it, Taylor Swift, sit down, all this other stuff. And then you cross it. Then people are like,
Taylor Swift, when he said
they think you got it.
When he said that Taylor Swift shit, he helped her out. It made her more relevant.
Exactly. But at the time, but see, okay, so they were that was just Kanye, you know, at that point. Okay, forgive him for being himself.
Yeah.
But now you out here and people are attributing your ranting to mental illness.
Yeah.
And that's what honestly though, but I don't even appreciate
very
that.
Serious topic though. Mental health.
That's what I was about to say. That's why I don't appreciate it, because that is something very serious. He has been speaking like this since the beginning of time. Yeah, right. He's very this is who he is.
Very
but I will say this from a mental health, I have been a mental health professional, and I will say this: even in that, there is a very thin line. If people with a mental illness, if you could actually date back to the point where there was something that people around you could have seen before you're far gone, then we would all appreciate that. But a lot of times you don't get a warning. It's just a slow edging up until somebody's like, wait a minute, that was way off. Yeah, that was way off that you said something.
If you really want to know, when his music, because I listen to stuff like this, me and my girlfriend actually talk about this stuff. His music took a turn, because he was, he was always him. He was always creative. Like, oh my God. But his music took a turn when his mother passed away.
Yeah.
That's when he went kind of like,
that cuckoo, So I mean, I feel like a lot of people, mention that, someone his mom died. But like, I feel like now in this day and age, it's like when it comes to marketing, I know we're gonna probably touch
market,
but like it's kind of like a blurred line, because like on the one spectrum, people are saying, oh, he's ranting, something's wrong with him mentally. But on the other spectrum, it's like in this generation, it's like kind of a thing like memes. Are you guys familiar with memes?
Yeah.
It's like we live in this meme generation where people are like trolling. That's another word. Like, it's pretty much it's like they're baiting people.
Our young brothers getting us.
Yes, I'm sure you guys are familiar with memes and trolling. If not, you can actually look it up.
I think because you gotta realize it's like Kanye has been on a hiatus. Like Kanye has been like, he's been off of social media for a long period of time. Kanye is not stupid. He has his ears. He has his ears to the streets. He has, you know what I'm saying? Because the one thing about an artist, in order for you to stay relevant, you got to know what's hot. Exactly. You got to know what the young people are doing. So he has people in his corner, like he has Designer, he has Travis Scott, he has a lot of artists in his roster. He's very mixy. So he like has parties. He goes to parties, maybe off the radar, that the Shade Room doesn't cover or whatever. Right. So he has his ear to the streets.
But he's always been like
he's always been that way.
But nothing new.
But I'll go with all that to say is that this is like a popular thing when it comes to trolling. Like people, when it comes to like Young Thug does it so much. Like Young Thug, like it was one interview he did, and he said, you know what, I'm not gonna release any music because I have a deaf brother, and my brother's deaf. So since my brother is deaf, I'm not gonna speak for the rest of the year. I'm not gonna release no more music.
Wow.
And then like a month later, he released a new track with Nicki Minaj.
Right.
But the video was like a person signing or whatever. So like people say these things. People say
to create the buzz.
Create the market for it. Because at the end of the day, we're calling him, we're saying, oh, you have a mental health, whatever.
Yeah.
But guess what, baby girl?
We're talking about you,
You're
baby.
Paying for those $400, $500 Yeezy, so he's still making money.
He's milking it. I don't want to, and hear me out, I do not want to discredit, mental health. It's an epidemic. It affects so many people. Serious. But it's a blurred line. It's kind of hard as a fan, and also being, a human being to care about, someone's mental health. Yeah. But you gotta really look at it like this day and age. People are using this method to get attention. Like, are you trying to court attention, or are you really calling out for help?
Yeah.
Because if you look at the messages, he's purposely saying things that contradict who he is as a person. Like he's wearing the Make America Great. He's meeting with Donald Trump. He's doing all these weird things.
With the Donald Trump stuff.
But he's been with the Donald Trump.
Yeah, he's been with the Donald Trump stuff.
What happened to the Kanye 2004 around Katrina when he's like, President Bush doesn't like black people? Like, that's the Kanye that we know and love.
Right.
So when he does some very contrast and stuff,
he
always goes against the grain.
Right.
It's like, it's just the kind of person he is.
Yeah, he has to do it.
But he's a Gemini anyway.
Artist.
That's so I know.
And that goes into art as itself. If you look at art, not just like music, but art in general, you always have those artists like Basquiat in the 90s. He would create these weird, outlandish paintings that people would look at like, what is this? Like, this is weird. This is going against what's hot right now.
Right.
But he got so much attention, and to this day, these pieces of art are worth millions
of dollars.
Those are worth a million.
I think it's something. I think this is something that we will appreciate. And I say this, and I kind of say this like 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Yeah.
I think this is something that we'll appreciate maybe 5 or 10 years from now. Like Kanye was that black sheep that was willing to say things that we wouldn't say.
Exactly.
Right.
Because, whatever his purpose is, I'm pretty sure we'll find out in the next couple of months what this is about, and I have a strong hunch that it's about the projects that he's dropping.
I was about to say, I guarantee you. But here's the thing: something you just said. His woman, shout out, because I want to get to talk about supporting and stuff like that with your relationship. But his woman, Kim Kardashian, actually went in when they were like, you guys are calling him mental health illness and all these other things. But guess what? In 5 years or whatever years, you guys will be accepting everything he's saying. Okay. He's just the one to be able to say.
That's crazy. I didn't even read that.
She said that in the shade room. She put it up. Oh, you guys are attacking my husband and this and that and this and that. However, in a few years, you guys will be accepting what he's saying. And
that's another reason why we have to do past, present, and future, because so often that happens.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and let's just talk about this real quick. When you are a trendsetter of any kind, prepare to be crap. Prepare for somebody for the discourse. Prepare for people to be against you.
You gotta be
prepared. If you are this far ahead of me, the people have no clue what it is that you're talking about. They have no clue where you're coming from. The people that were talking about solar power 10 years ago, you sounded crazy.
Definitely.
You know, so right now, if you are a trendsetter, you are definitely, it's a lonely place to be sometimes. And shout out to Kim for supporting him. And actually,
you guys, I just want to read it really quickly. So I had to find this for you.
Okay, did you find it?
Yeah, hold on 1 second.
But yeah, shout out to her for supporting him either way.
So all I gotta say is, man, like Kanye, I mean, I may sound biased because I've been the biggest Kanye West fan since I was like,
because he's a dope artist, man.
And he like Flashing Lights. That was the first rap song that I learned from beginning to end. So I'm a diehard, you know, Kanye fan. Like I've always been a supporter. So this might sound a little biased, but Kanye's a genius. Like, come on, like this guy's a genius. You think
he's not?
This guy is a genius. Like Kanye, he is a curator. He's not just a artist. He's not just a producer. He's a curator.
Which brings us.
So basically,
go ahead. No,
so this dude, like I watched a documentary. My boy, Gene Gray, he's a rapper. He put me onto this documentary that I watched on the creation of Yeezus. Like when Yeezus, which was Kanye's album that he dropped like around 2013. This guy, he went to Europe, right? He found the most eccentric, most different producers, and he collaborated. He had these people in the room, like 10 or 12 of these super producers in his room, and he's like, "Yo, this is the vision that I have. So we're gonna get this done.
Yeah, like how we do this."
Because like it really takes a village, and that's something that I talked about before. Yes. Like in order for you to be so spontaneous and have these visions in your head, you gotta have people to bring
to be able to carry them out. Absolutely.
So that's the whole purpose. I think I almost said Jesus, but Jesus, Kanye, he's a genius. So I think that this is all a part of his
master plan, and you will see.
And we're all talking about, because there was one point, like and I just realized it's like my boy Sean, he put me on. He was saying that he's been doing this for like 2 weeks now, just ranting.
Oh, he's about to come out with something big.
So like I know that he's been, he's been in, hibernation, or he's been in the hiatus, in the lab. There's footage of him like with Charlamagne and Amigos, like all these weird people that he's with, and like these people are marketing geniuses. These people are famous for a reason.
Absolutely.
So this like, again, I don't want to sound redundant or like, because I repeat myself a lot. But I think this is all a part of his master. So please, people, keep an open mind. Don't take this for face value, because Kanye is a genius and he has a strong fan base, and he's not going to do anything that's going to be detrimental. And this is what I believe. And again, I might sound biased because I'm a Kanye fan, but I honestly believe that this is all a part of his big plan. He's not going to do something that's going to ruin his image. I don't know.
And if it's ruining it to us, he's not really ruining it. Right, what I'm saying?
If anybody in the world has ruined and recreated and ruined and unruined, because people were in an uproar. Every time he does something, they're in an uproar, but they bring it back. So we also have to talk about.
I want to read this real quick because I got.
Okay, because we got to keep it moving. We got like 2 seconds to go through.
But I got to read.
Read his support from his boo.
Yeah, because that's serious. Because what she said, and you just said it, and that's why I was just like, wow. And you said you didn't even.
I didn't
quickly.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. I said, so this is what Kim Kardashian West said. Kanye will never run in the race of popular opinion, which is true. We know that, and that's why I love him and respect him. In a few years, when someone else says the exact same thing that he's saying, they will not be labeled. It will be accepted.
But they aren't labeled the way he is. But we will all praise them. Kanye is years ahead of his time.
And that's exactly what we're just saying. But mental health.
I'm reading her little screen from over here. Let me tell you what the quote really says.
And it says mental health is no joke. Media needs to stop spitting out out that so casually. Bottom line, and I 100%.
But everybody's getting on Kanye right now. But look at our president.
That's what they're trying to say.
But look at our president. Our president does this faithfully.
Now that is a case. He is a mental case. Like actually,
why aren't they saying this about him? I mean, they always,
they have people say that.
But it's certain demographic. They accept this. They say, "Oh, that's our president. Okay, that's what he says." I'm not talking about our demographic. Let's get that straight. But there's a certain group of people, ethnic group, whatever, and they, see his words as law. Like, okay, Donald Trump, he wants to build a wall. Okay, I'm supporting this. You know what I'm saying? So like, why not flip it and like just kind of have an open mind? I'm not saying believe what Kanye is saying, but just like, just change your perspective and just like try to, I don't know, I think we're on a wait and see.
I want to say one thing and then we're going to move on. I want people to not forget Kanye West is a businessman. Definitely. He took t-shirts, put holes in them, and sold them for millions of dollars. Don't forget, Donald Trump is a businessman. So they have a lot in common. They like to make money.
Definitely.
Moving on.
So I think we're going to have to actually go into our affinity. We need to talk about these love and relationships. We need to talk about the affinity. Okay. So how we connect and, the things that we're drawn to in our love and relationship segment. And we need to do this. Unfortunately, we get to a point where unfortunately the show is only an hour long. We can't do, whatever. But so as a graduating college student, you're a young man. Mm-hmm. You're also getting into, building a business, and that's also time. All of these things are time consuming. You know what I mean? If you're giving 8 hours of research to your projects and you're doing, you got to study and you got to do this, that, and the other. How does that make for relationships? How do you, navigate that?
Yes,
are you? Yeah, because we gonna get.
Wait a minute.
Look, are you in a relationship? We gonna get in your business now.
I heard you say my girlfriend, but you need to let the people
That's right. Let the people know. Let the people know.
Yes, I am in a relationship with my beautiful girlfriend Deja. We've been in a relationship for 7 months now.
Aww.
And she's my best friend. She's my best friend. She's in the back. You know what I'm saying? Watching. She's my best friend. She's my support. She's my counselor. She's everything that I could ask for. And I appreciate her so much. So when it comes to, me being I am an entrepreneur, taking that next step, it's all about communication.
Yeah.
It's about communication and just being on the same page and making time for who you love. And I do that. Sometimes I may be guilty of not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to mention that. I'm not afraid to say that. So it's just about
don't you think that's
prioritizing.
It's
all about prioritizing your time. Like, me and Deja have those conversations a lot. One thing that I do, I'm a millennial, so I use my technology. So one thing that I do is I set timers. So if I'm working on a video project, let's say I'll put in an hour, then I'll take a 30-minute break and just, check on Deja, spend some time with her.
Oh, wow.
Watch a movie or something. And then I'll go back to it.
Yeah.
It's just all about prioritizing, because at the end of the day, you make time for who you love. You know what I'm saying?
That was deep.
You really do make time for who you love. And trust me, it was not easy. I did not have it all together right away. Trust me.
Yeah, no.
Out the gate, I was,
And relationships are growing processes, and you have to grow together.
Definitely,
you know what I mean?
And I think Deja, she knows the type of lifestyle that I live when it comes to my career path. She supports it. She's taking pictures in the back.
Shout out to the supportive girlfriend.
She's my, like I said, she's my girlfriend. She's my counselor. She's my marketer, PR. You know what I'm saying? When I'm, sending emails to clients, she's proofreading it.
That's good.
So it's like, it's not, but at the end of the day, it's like, you got to invest. It's like one thing that I learned from her, and trust me, I've learned a lot from my girlfriend, our experience. Like one thing that's like an analogy that she taught me is like relationships are like banks. So you got to make those deposits in order for you to expect a withdrawal.
Millennials, man.
Okay. I know, but this is not all millennials, and we need to actually talk about that, because so many people, their heads are not in the right places.
I got it like that was your age.
And everybody doesn't have it.
That's why I was depositing in the wrong bank.
And that's the problem with a lot of people my age, well, a lot of people in general, is that we lack communication, and we don't understand. Like the analogy that I was about to, what I'm trying to explain is like relationships are like banks. You can't expect to take a major withdrawal from your bank without you depositing. And by depositing, it's like, you know, giving those
the
dates, you know, how are you doing today? How can I make you feel loved today? What can I do?
Absolutely, because everybody needs to feel it. You know what I mean? It's one thing to love somebody, but it's also, love is an action word. That's what I always say. It's an action word. So what actions are you putting into it so that that person understands, you know? And, you know, we all have different love languages. And I think that's a big thing. So finding out what that person's love language is. Sometimes it is just a simple text.
And one thing that me and Deja, and that's you speaking about, you know, you spoke about love language. That's something that me and Deja actually had a conversation about.
Okay.
Like what, like you know, so what can I do to make you feel loved? So one thing that I like is one that I appreciate is like, you know, because I'm really passionate about my craft. So her saying, saying things like, oh, I like this video. You're doing a great job. That feeds my bank. That's the deposits that I need. And that's what anything, like me being an artist, me being a creative. I gotta know if I'm touching people. Like, what I mean by touching people is like, am I reaching people? What I'm creating is, am I making my impact? So by her saying, yes, Jabbar, that's a great video, or you did your thing. I appreciated that. That's my deposit.
Honestly, that's that right there. When you get that from your partner, who you're with. Because they're going to tell you the real. The people are going to keep it surface level with you. Oh,
and they already love you. So,
that's so nice. But she's going to tell you, like, you might need to do this, or this is great. And you know that this is great because she's going to let you know.
Definitely. And one thing, too, for, like, you know, those in the relationships, like, don't depend. And that's something that I've learned. Like, don't depend on your significant other to give you your happiness. You have to find that within yourself. You got to use that. You got to use their love as an enhancement to what you already have. Like me personally, I don't want to, like, you know, I love Deja. I don't want to depend on her solely to make me feel good.
You feel.
So if she's not there to tell me, oh, good job on your video, or good job on this, whatever, I still can find that within myself. Right. I have the confidence in myself, and I can look at my stuff like, you know what, I'm lit. I'm tough.
I'm lit right now.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing nobody can tell me, because me and Deja, we talk all the time. Like, one thing that we talk about is like, God has already prepared a table for you. You know what I'm saying? No matter what nobody can say to you, no matter what anybody can do, God has already prepared that table for you to, you know what I'm saying, to enjoy that. Only thing that people can do is probably slow you up. But if it's written in stone, if God says that, Jabbar, you are destined for an Oscar, you are destined for whatever.
Nothing can stop you from
nothing nobody can tell me.
This is happening. That's what I tell people. I'm like, this is happening.
This is happening.
One last question for you. And because I know we got to wrap up. So you see a lot of these different, you know, couples together, and sometimes they share the same passion. Like I'll just say Cardi B and Offset, they share the same passion. So it's easy for them to come together, right? Because
they kind of understand each other's.
For her, do you guys share the same passion? And how do you make, if y'all don't, her passion is relevant as your passion?
You know what? That's a really interesting question. At first, I thought me and Deja didn't really, like, in regards to career, Deja, she studies psychology. She has a career, you know, her career aspirations of being in psychology. Me, I'm on the media sector.
Right.
So when we first got together, I honestly thought that there was no correlation between what I wanted and what she wanted. But as we progressed and we got to know each other, psychology and media, they go hand in hand.
Yeah, absolutely. Can I just say that? Because that was my first love. I think it's Eb Deceleb's first love as well. Second, but those things go like this, because if you don't understand people, if you don't understand thought, if you don't understand a mind, you cannot communicate. And doing communication, doing productions of any kind, it's about conveying a message, getting that message across, and that's communication. So,
and I wanted to hear like because you were going with it, so I wanted to hear your point.
Yeah, so like she already knew from the jump. Like she was like, Jabbar, we got so much in common. I don't know what you're looking from, but she already knew that we have more in common than I thought. I was looking more.
Because she's a psychology major.
She knows, like, yo, like it's crazy.
You
so
just
like,
I'm just joking.
I was looking more on the surface. I'm like, okay, psychology, you're over there. Mass comm, you're over there. So like as we're going along, and I did say some insensitive things. Like I was like, I don't even know why we connected, because you like this and I like that.
Yeah.
But like as you know, as I said, as we got to know each other a little bit more, even like, she was giving me some game on psychology. Like she was teaching me, you know what I'm saying, displacement and like, you know, all these different, you know, and that helped me as a person, not just on my career, but me really figuring out what is the root of my anger, or what is the root of my sadness, or what is the root of my happiness.
Right.
So like me really getting to know about that was all to her. And then when I unlocked that was already within me,
yourself,
I was able to flourish that and share that with her. And I'm like, yo, we do have a lot more in common than I ever thought.
Well, that's a beautiful thing to find, especially at your age, and to actually be with somebody that can actually unlock that and understand that, because communication is key, and it takes a lifetime to learn how to communicate with everybody, let alone somebody that you're with. But also shout out to you, because you actually have to be open to it. If you're not open to it, it does not matter how much she knows. It does not matter how much another person knows or want to talk to you about, or what their base is. If you're not open to it, you cannot receive it. Period, point blank, and flat out. So
I'm so sorry to say this, but so is there going to be a show coming out, Deja Fix My Life, produced by the Guru? Is that it?
Right.
Hello?
Quite possible.
I mean, did I just break something? Okay, let me not spill the tea early. Hello?
Wait a minute. I think we about to drop
wait a minute. Let's know the inside.
I don't want to give too much details.
Okay.
I do got some footage of us, you know what I'm saying, just talking or whatever, that I do want to eventually turn into a documentary, because me and Deja, we have an interest in life. You know, we both have experienced some sort of, I don't want to say trauma, but we both have experienced something.
You're both human.
We're both human. You know, we experience, you know, different things. But we want to, I might be speaking this to existence. This might be an exclusive of SipsTea.
Okay, well, SipsTea the Show.
Please look out for a documentary produced by Jabari Jefferson that talks about mental health, that talks about assault, that talks about different aspects of being a human. You know what I'm saying? Yes. That there's certain things that humans experience, certain things that people experience that they may not feel as comfortable telling the world, but we're going to tell it in a way that, you know, keeps that that's relatable, but keeps that confidentiality. You don't want to give too much, but still like be at a point of like you have a voice, you have to share, you have a voice.
Because we actually each have to, in order for us to actually grow and heal, we have to share these things. If you guys look on SipsTea the Show page, you will see that part of our mission is actually to open up collaboration. That's what the name of the game is, collaboration. We all need to speak to each other. We all need to collaborate. We all need to share experiences. Things that are personal to you, you'll be surprised, are very personal to somebody else. But there's somebody out there experiencing exactly what you're experiencing, the good and the bad. So, you know, to actually have these collaborations, that is what SipsTea the Show is all about. And I guess that kind of brings us into the detox. I guess we kind of talked about the detox right now. The detox is our health and wellness segment. And I think just with this, we have to say the health and wellness. If we're talking about the detox tea today that we may have even taken away from the show, is the fact that we actually have to communicate to heal. We have to communicate to actually find love between each other and a love of things. And communication is a very, very important tool for detoxing your life.
It's definitely healthy, because you can communicate, you can talk yourself out of a lot of different things.
Okay. Like, you can talk yourself into it or out of it.
Yes, you can. So you have to be able to communicate. But definitely, with that being said, I want to thank the Guru for coming in on our show.
It was a pleasure.
It was amazing. You know, for you to be our first, and he has definitely set the record. Let me just say this. For the next, I'm so sorry, our producer's
is a nut. But yeah, the stage is set.
As she tells me 2 minutes.
Yeah, she's like,
and I'm trying to get these words out, and she's steady clapping. But it's real live on these shows. But however, we definitely, for those who are coming after this interview, my man has set the bar.
Yes.
So no,
we're gonna call it the Jabari.
This is the Jabari Guru. He has set the bar here.
Yeah.
So please know that.
Go ahead. Myself real quick.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
We're gonna get into that. Definitely.
So you know, he has definitely set the bar. So please, if you are brewing your own tea, this is what it's about. We want to definitely collaborate with you, communicate to the world on what you're doing. So with that being said, I'm gonna let him put himself out there, and then we're gonna end the show.
All right, guys. So you can find me on Instagram, Mass Guru Productions, and that's spelled MASS COMM Guru GURU Productions.
Production.
And that's on Instagram too. You can just search my, like I said earlier.
Consistency is key.
You can just search my name, Jabari Jefferson, and I have a variety of content that you can see. And I'm also open for collaboration. I am from the DC area, but I am not limited to the DC area. So if you are in LA, Atlanta, whatever, we have the internet. We can collaborate. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to be there to collaborate with you. So just reach out to me. I'm pretty sure they're gonna put, you know, more information in the bio or whatever. But, you know, again, Mascom Guru Productions on Instagram. I have a lot of my work there, my YouTube channel. And I also just launched my website, which I talked about earlier, Mascom Guru Productions.weebly.com. So just, you know, just search me.
That also.
And yeah, I mean, I had a great time, ladies. It was
Thank
dope.
you so much for coming. SipsTea the Show. Thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out to Haiti. Shout out to our local residents watching. And shout out to everybody who's watching SipsTea the Show. Shout out to you guys in the T Spot and on Facebook Live. Of course, we will be sharing the show on YouTube Live. Yes, definitely. We'll be sharing the show so everybody can get into it and get into this young man and the rest of the things that we have coming up. So with that being said,
until next time,
we have to bid you adieu.
We have to go, but my cup is empty, so I know
the cup is definitely not full no more. I'm sorry. Shout out to SipsTea the Show on Instagram. You know, you guys got to get hip though. Let me talk to Instagram real quick. You guys got to get hip. Please go to our YouTube Live. We're definitely gonna like, comment, subscribe so you get those notifications of when we go on.
I said something early. We're not asking for no GoFundMe account. We're just asking you to subscribe to the goddamn channel. That's it. Just subscribe. But it's been real, guys. Until next week. Enjoy your weekend.
Bye.
We're going out with another. Something else that GemDTwin actually put us on to. Her name is Perry. If I don't say Perry, we're going to keep on screaming from the rafters. Okay?
You guys get the real show. No show like this.
Yeah, we just like this. Yeah.
In the middle action.
But, yeah.
Hey, you got rock.
Yeah.
Let's show.
SipsTea. It's your cup full.
It's your cup full.
Come back for a refill next Wednesday.
Each and every Wednesday. It's happy hour. Also, y'all, look out for the apparel. The apparel that's coming.
Oh, yeah.
The shirt.
SipsTea the Show shirt.
We're going to come with our logo soon.
Yes, look out for our apparel line. We're going to have merch. So be prepared for merch.
I think we should do based off of what Jabari just did and inspired. I think that because he called it a passion project. I think we should do a SipsTea vision board.
Oh, absolutely.
I think we need to
do it.
I mean,
let's do it. Let's do it.
You heard it here first, guys. You heard it here
Vision
first.
board.
And y'all know I put on the event. That's what it is.
A vision board event.
That's what I'm thinking about.
Oh, okay.
A vision board event with a launch party of SipsTea the Show, and then also with our videographer, if he can show his presence.
Oh, okay.
And then our producer, who is always loyal to SipsTea the Show.
Okay.
Regardless of the electricity.
We got legs. And don't forget the GemDTwin, that production company.
Mixtape.
Under construction too. Mixtape from GemDTwin.
When your mixtape releases, could we put that as a part of the vision board and collaborate that shit together?
So mixtapes coming soon for Under Construction 2, the mixtape from GemDTwin. Then we also got music production, video production, all kinds of things. And hey,
we got our photo shoot coming.
The whole point here too, just to actually bring it home too. You guys are family,
yes.
And both of them doing production, and they both collaborate, and they both talk to each other, and they both uplift each other. And we have to do that. But I think the most amazing thing is always to say there is space for everyone.
Yeah.
There's space for everybody.
Everybody eats.
Everybody eats. So don't be afraid. stop with the crabs in the barrel syndrome. There is space to grow. It's space for everybody. So, as soon as Miss Producer come and take us out, you know, visually, we'll be ready to go. She's probably like, why are you guys still talking? Oh,
she does this. She just wrap it up.
Oh, she gonna wrap herself in.
Okay.
So this is local artist, Perry.
Are you resting your hand on my head?
Sorry. Listening to Perry's song. What's up? She watching. She's a viewer.
Okay.
Perry. There we go. Perry.
Trying to promote everybody.
Local
Local artists.
That's on the show.
Yeah.
If you gonna play our music, you better be a part of the show.
Shout out to everybody. SipsTea, good job today.
Can we get though? Can we? I'm sorry. Can we get the lovely missus who supports?
Does she want to come on the show? You can't just make people.
Her man, and she was back here.
I mean, the producer already.
Come on here.
Will you? Oh my God! Affinity. This is the little woman. The little woman is coming out.
Here she comes, y'all. Delaware State Psychology. Y'all about to see it on TV.
Yes. Yeah. Now they have made their way. You can.
There she goes.
Look out. Yes.
There goes the
Oh, he's so cute. Matching this stuff.
So
I know, right? Delaware State. Oh, Delaware State colors. So these two actually just came in. When I'm saying they hit town and came to do the show, I actually wanted to bring her on SipsTea the Show just impromptu, but we decided against that. That was like, well, when I say baptism by fire,
our producers still haven't ended the live.
So we just
going
in.
Coming in.
Right. So how do you feel about what he was saying as far as the affinity segment? Were you crying?
Yeah, she was about to cry. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm about to cry too.
Exactly.
No, but she's awesome. I met her recently, and she's awesome. Anyway, she's actually been supporting SipsTea the Show and watching and commenting and liking and subscribing.
Yeah.
Since we met her, and to sit down and actually communicate with this young lady is to actually have a conversation with a real person with some real purpose and all of that other stuff. So she's beautiful inside and out. So you looked up, bruh.
Oh, trust me.
I mean, you know, you guys, to be matched up in any kind of way with somebody who can see your vision.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna tell you, it's hard to be in any kind of business. Both of you guys will have things that take long. The mental health field takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot of time. The AV field takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot of time. You know what I mean? And so actually figuring out how you guys fit together and, you know, coming together, because it could be 10 times harder. Anything in life could be 10 times harder, or it could be, you know, at least 5 times easier with that person that you're with. So yeah.
Okay, so, you guys, we're going live. We're ending the live.
I don't see us ending live. So how do you feel about that, though? Look, I'm gonna see when you want. I mean, you gotta push the buttons.
All right, we out, y'all. Thank y'all for watching.
We'll see, because it's like 7 other screens she gotta shut down.
I gotta cut all these screens. We got like 1, 2, 3.
She still hasn't shut this one down.